play, break that cycle. And what do we mean by this cycle of production and consumption?
Yeah, I think I'll answer that second question first, but we tend to, like, in our modern Western world, we tend to work for rest. So we work, we overwork, and then we like collapse in exhaustion. Um, and so there's this sense that we have to earn our rest. And the Bible, of course, flips that. We always work from rest, right? On the seventh day that God rested, right? He didn't have to rest. It wasn't like, oh, I'm tired creating the world. But rather he shows us how to properly live for his creatures, that he delights, and part of rest is delight, that he looks at everything and says, wow, that is good. That's so very good. And so it is from that position of rest, from Sabbath, that we actually do our work. Which was hugely, of course, instrumental. My husband's preaching through Genesis, the early chapters of Genesis right now, and he keeps reminding us every week that, that the book of Genesis, of course, was given to the Israelites after they came out of slavery. And so thinking of people enslaved for 400 years, never having had a day of rest. And what does it mean to actually experience like that you are not what you do, you actually get rest. And so I think we've kind of, in our modern culture, tended to like enslave ourselves, right? And to continue to work to earn rest, and to not actually accept the rest we've been given. Because rest, like play, to return to your question, is really vulnerable. And I think oftentimes we don't play and we don't rest because we don't know what's going to come up. So, like when my daughter was little, she wanted me to play like dolls with her. And I really I don't remember how to play dolls. I don't want to do it. You could just go play outside, find one of your brothers. Because it was like, I didn't want to look stupid. And like, come on, I'm not going to look stupid to my like 5-year-old daughter. She just wants the presence of her mother, right? To enjoy something. And how often do we choose to not play with other people, or even to deign to look foolish in front of other people, or even with God, and to be like, the silence thing is weird. I've never done it before. I'm going to try it, and to say like, God takes great delight in us. He's not like judging our behavior or our spiritual disciplines, is a helpful reminder.
How is Sabbath helpful? I mean, the Sabbath keeping helpful in keeping us in a pattern of rest?
Well, I still struggle with Sabbath. It's tricky because, as I was saying, my husband's a pastor. So he takes his like pastoral Sabbath on Monday, but we try to at least have the afternoons feel Sabbathy as a family, the 6 of us. And with teenagers in the house, we're trying to let them sort of figure it out as they grow into adulthood too. And often, unfortunately, it does look a lot like, okay, everyone's just on their devices. This is not what I had intended. But the idea, when we have more successful practices, for us as a family, looks like engaging in rest, and like engaging in not having a planned sort of day, so that it doesn't feel like, oh gosh, we got to get here and here and there. So we don't do our errands. We don't, if we have people over, we enjoy good food and good drink together. We try to get a nap. And the biggest thing that I feel like we've been consistent with is the idea of dessert. And so I always, right, if the Sabbath it's not like just like, don't do all these things, and it can feel super restrictive. And so I remember reading, I think it was in A.J. Swoboda's book, A Glorious Dark, where he talks about the Hebrew children being awoken with honey on their tongues so that they would know that the Lord's day is always sweet. And I was like, I can get on board with that. So we don't always have dessert around the house. And so it became a way to have dessert, and we have dessert first. So we have it before dinner, just as a way to remember that God is good, and he gives us things to delight in. So that, if anything, my kids, for a long time, actually, my daughter would be like, is it Sabbath? Is it Sabbath? Which basically meant like, is it time for dessert?
I'm trying to imagine putting honey on my kids' lips.
Right. That feels like some tricky bad thing from the Parent Trap, right?
With like,
with the
It's
honey
like that
everywhere.
is not gonna end well. Then of course not having honey, I'm like, dessert, do I just put like a piece of cake in their mouth? And then, like, wake
Right.
up and they're,
No.
what's going on?
Right. Maybe chocolate cake ground into the carpet.
I like the nap. Jesus took naps. So
Yes, yes,
I'm
yes.
all over the
Yeah.
napping part of the
Yeah.
whole deal.